Penguin Random House Audio presents Last One Home by Debbie Macomber. Read for you by Rebecca Lohman, with an introduction read by Debbie Macomber.
Dear friends, I'm so delighted to share with you my new novel, Last One Home. Like that of the sisters in this book, one of my fondest memories from childhood is playing hide-and-seek in the park with my neighborhood friends. And like Cassie, our main character, I would often squeeze through the thick branches of a huge bush so not to be seen. We always played until dusk, waiting for the porch light to be turned on, our parents' signal that it was time to come in. Then we'd all race for home. In the novel, my character, Cassie, has, as an adult, become estranged from her family. When the book opens, she hasn't seen them in 13 years. The idea of coming home seems almost impossible to her, but it is what she longs for most, a feeling I think we can all understand. Well, I didn't have a sister growing up. I had lots of cousins who I was very close to, and I can't imagine losing touch with any of them. Now please listen on and meet one of the strongest heroines I feel I've ever written. Cassie is eager to tell her story, and I hope you're just as eager to listen to it. Warmest regards, Debbie Macomber. Now, hearing from my readers is one of the many pleasures I have as an author. You can reach me through my website at debbiemacomber.com or on Facebook. Or, if you would rather write a letter, my mailing address is Post Office Box 1458. Port Orchard, Washington, 98366.
Prologue. Summer had always been 10-year-old Cassie's favorite time of year. Larson Park, just down the street from her house, was the neighborhood play yard where her sisters and kids from the block gathered in the cool of the evening. The most popular after-dinner game was hide-and-seek, and the huge chestnut tree in the center of the park was their home base. "Ollie, ollie, oxen free!" 12-year-old Karen called out. Cassie's older sister was it, and she was good. Cassie struggled to hide her giggles. She'd gotten good at hiding. No one knew of her secret place inside a huge bush that grew low to the ground. The day had been blistering hot, but a cool breeze set the leaves to whispering. When she closed her eyes, Cassie could hear the trees singing to one another. Cassie was just small enough to squeeze in between the thick branches of the bush and hunker down out of sight. She held perfectly still as crickets chirped in the background. The scent of the freshly mowed lawn nearly caused her to sneeze, which would have ruined everything. The best part about her hiding spot was that she was able to peer out between the greenery and watch when Karen left the chestnut tree. Fun and games with her two sisters and friends was a perfect ending to what was probably the best day of Cassie's entire life. Earlier that afternoon, a big truck had parked outside their house with a delivery. It was the piano Cassie had dreamed about ever since she started taking lessons 2 years earlier. Recently, Mrs. Schneider, her teacher, had encouraged her parents to invest in a piano. According to the teacher, Cassie had musical talent. She loved to sit at the piano, fascinated by the sound each key made and what happened in her head when she heard a song on the radio. Mrs. Schneider claimed Cassie had been born with a musical ear. Cassie wasn't quite sure what that meant, and thought it might be her ability to hear a song and then find the keys to play it all on her own without looking at sheet music. Unfortunately, the only place she'd had to practice was at the old upright in the school gymnasium. The piano was available after school and at no other time. Mrs. Schneider was certain Cassie would excel if she had access to a piano of her own. But pianos were expensive, and her mother had sadly explained that the family couldn't afford to take on that big of an expense.